Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Hey, who in the world in the Franchon Crews-Dezurn camp was behind making this fight with Savannah Marshall? Yo, let me tell y'all right now, Crews-Dezurn can fight. Savannah Marshall's on a whole nother level, man. Crews-Dezurn is not Claressa Shields. Now Crews-Dezurn can fight. And I'm rooting for her because I like the underdog story. You know what I'm saying? And I root for her especially because I don't like how she got in the ring with that man, transgender, or whatever the hell that she ended up fighting, and found out that there was some steroids and possibly that the female could have been a transgender. Whatever the story is, right? I just don't like how she was done wrong in that fight. When all those rounds, not on a level playing field, and got pretty much, just battered around the ring. So I'm always rooting for Crews-Dezurn because of that. I don't ever want to see her lose because of that. But I'm telling you right now, me just being fair, right? We're talking boxing. I like Savannah Marshall too. But I don't see why anybody on the Crews-Dezurn side would make the fight with Savannah Marshall. You got Savannah Marshall out here right now. I mean, that fight with her and Claressa Shields, Shields outboxed her, but Shields went on record and said, Savannah Marshall can crack. Crews-Dezurn can't move like Claressa Shields. She doesn't have the output of Claressa Shields. All right? This matchup, in my opinion, is not a 50-50 fight. I see Savannah Marshall winning this fight fairly easy, especially if she gets into shape like she did for Claressa Shields. Now look, Savannah Marshall is out here trying to make history, becoming a two-weight world champion. And I think she's going to get it when she gets into the ring in June against Crews-Dezurn. Now, I'm telling you right now, this is what you call the best fighting the best. Now, they got different levels of the best, but if you got 10 elite fighters, they all should mix it up. And when you see Franchon Crews-Dezurn, her name, and Savannah Marshall's name, that's crazy. Get to fight. I mean, I just think this is just one of those things where with Savannah Marshall returning and going back into a huge fight like this, getting an opportunity at all of those belts, man, that's crazy. That is crazy, man. But at the end of the day, Crews-Dezurn, she's excited to get in the ring and mix it up with Savannah Marshall. I just honestly don't believe that this is a fight that Crews-Dezurn is going to have a chance on really winning. I think Savannah Marshall and her people, they knew what they were doing taking this fight. And I just think when you look at Savannah Marshall with her reach, with her work rate, with her power, I just think that's something Crews-Dezurn is going to struggle with. Crews-Dezurn does have the ability to counterpunch. She does have a great with Crews-Dezurn, right? The things that she does great, getting the right hand off, being able to counter, being able to take the half a step back and fight on the inside. I just don't, she does those things great, but she's up against an opponent, in my opinion, who is truly elite. The amateur pedigree, what she's done as a pro, and she had great rounds against Claressa Shields, but Claressa Shields won, hands down. But I just don't see Crews-Dezurn just having the athleticism, having the awareness, having the IQ of Claressa Shields. And you're going to need all of that to beat someone like Savannah Marshall. So when Crews-Dezurn is sitting here saying that Savannah Marshall is so entitled that if you ask Crews-Dezurn, she described the fight between Shields and Savannah Marshall as Savannah Marshall getting dog walked. Just basically getting outclassed and getting the crap beat out of her. Now that's not quite what I saw, but I'm telling you right now, Shields won that fight hands down. Anybody who watched that fight, if you say Savannah Marshall won that fight, you're just biased and you're not being fair. Shields handled her business, and I don't think anyone can beat Claressa Shields. That's just my opinion. But for Crews-Dezurn, she can say Savannah Marshall has this feeling of entitlement. She got dog walked by Claressa Shields, and she just felt she was going to walk back into a rematch. Let me tell you something. You know, money talks, BS walks. So with Savannah Marshall walking back into a rematch with Claressa Shields, look, Shields didn't want to go back to the UK. So that's kind of one of the reasons, not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons why things kind of fell apart. And then we talk about Savannah Marshall being a crybaby, and now she just gets babied, and always ends up in these positions. But I'm going to tell you right now, man, Crews-Dezurn is fighting Savannah Marshall, and there's a reason why she's fighting her over there in the UK. It's because, one, they know that it's going to be a good show, and then two, right, it's the money. And actually, one is the money, two is going to be a good show. It is. This is just something here, man. These guys fighting in Manchester, England, and I'm just telling you right now, when you look at Dezurn, who's represented the United States in the amateurs, this is a good fight. And I think it picks up where Shields and Savannah Marshall left off. I really do. I think it picks up where they left off. But I know one thing. The UK fans know boxing, and the UK fans know how winnable this fight is for Savannah Marshall. And I'm going to call it right now. Just like I said, Savannah Marshall, Claressa Shields is a tough fight. Savannah Marshall, if she catches Shields clean, she can hurt her. But she wasn't able to land those shots as clean as she wanted. Shields was able to move and box and then stop on a dime and fire from the first second of the first round to the last second of the last round. She almost got Savannah Marshall out of there. But it just shows you how the kind of shape Savannah Marshall was in, and it shows you the kind of shape Claressa Shields were in. Both of them were at their best. And what that showed you is just Claressa Shields' best is just a little bit more than Savannah Marshall's. And I'm going to tell you right now, if Savannah Marshall can get herself in that condition and shape that she was in against Claressa Shields, then it's going to be another case of us talking about Savannah Marshall at her best and Crews-Dezurn at her best, where Savannah Marshall's best is just a little bit more than Crews-Dezurn's. I'm telling y'all, man, power has a lot to do with it. Athleticism has a lot to do with it. Speed has a lot to do with it. IQ has a lot to do with it. Everything. And I just think for Savannah Marshall and Crews-Dezurn, they're two great fighters. But I'm telling you, I'm picking Savannah Marshall to clip Crews-Dezurn. I just think she's too tall, too strong, and just has she's too hungry right now. But I love the fact that Crews-Dezurn did what she did, became undisputed. I respect all that. And I'm rooting for Crews-Dezurn. I just don't like the fact that her people matched her up against Savannah Marshall. But at the same time, kind of hard to blame them. It's like Ryan Garcia and Tank. You know, the amount of money that she's going to make fighting Savannah Marshall is probably, 10 times more than what she would make fighting someone else, even with all those titles that she has. So that being said, more to come. But I'm telling y'all right now, I don't know what to say, but I'm very excited for this fight. It's ridiculous, man. Well, let me be careful what I say. I'll tell you what I was going to say. I was going to say it's ridiculous that the female fights we're getting tend to be better than some of the male fights we've been getting. But I'm not going to say that because you know what? This is boxing. I shouldn't be here focused on the gender. That's wrong with me. But what I'll tell you is, I think these men need to pay attention to these females and to see what they're doing because these women are out here fighting and they're going for all the glory. And I am looking forward to this fight, man. I think people have embraced women's boxing so much, and I think they deserve to be embraced, and I do think they deserve to make more money than what they're making. But that being said, it's kind of out of my control. But I am looking forward to this, man. Savannah Marshall's back. Crews-Dezurn is back. I would have liked to see Crews-Dezurn get an opportunity to defend those belts 3-4 times before going into a fight with like a Savannah Marshall or something like that. But then again, there's not really, they don't have the pool of fighters to pull from like the men do, you know. So I understand it. And at the end of the day, there's a short shelf life on boxing and boxers' careers, so they might as well get as much money as they can. But I think this fight and the display these two are going to put on are going to help continue to elevate women's boxing. And I am excited about this fight. I'm telling you right now. But I'm also going to tell you, I don't think it's a 50-50 fight. I think Crews-Dezurn has enough pop to where early in the fight, where she's strong, could be some issues for Marshall. But what we've seen from Crews-Dezurn is as the fight goes on, she seems to slow a little bit. The power is not quite there like it was in the first half of the fight. And with Savannah Marshall, what she's shown is she carries that power up until the last round. And she's coming. But that being said, we'll see how it plays out. But they're supposed to be fighting in June. And I am looking forward to this fight. I got to start keeping up with this one. This is going to be a good fight, man. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans on 7 continents. Savannah Marshall and Crews-Dezurn. Going to be a good scrap. I just think timing and everything is off for Crews-Dezurn and her team. Shouldn't have put them in there with Savannah Marshall. But we'll see how the fight goes. As always, I'm in the breeze.